Hello everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a fall reading radar, I guess you could say. This is gonna be the books that I'm interested in reading this coming fall winter as we get into the next couple months. I am pulling a couple books from my previous reading radar through into this one because I just didn't get to them in August, and I don't know if I'm gonna get to them in September. I really hope so, but my reading has been a little bit off lately. We're just gonna dive in. So first and foremost, I really want to read The Oleander Sword by Tasha Shuri. This is like next on my TBR kind of thing. I've been meaning to pick this up since it was released, but I've just kept pushing it back and back and back, and I did reread the sequel to Jasmine Throne with the purpose of reading this one immediately after, but I got caught up in a few other books. But this is next, the one that I'm going to pick up next, I promise. The next one as well is Blade Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. I am so desperate to pick this up as well. Hopefully before the end of September. If not, it'll be in October. I also want to reread Realmbreaker before I go into this, so I will probably be adding that one as well. But definitely this one. This is two sequels right back to back, which is amazing. I also have plans for like a kind of a thrillery October. I'm not entirely sure what books are going to be on that list, but that's also on my radar because it's October. That's the time where you want to read thrillery books, right? And I am planning on doing a like reading out of my comfort zone thrillers part 2 kind of a thing, because I did that last year. I had a reading out of my comfort zone video go up where I read like mysteries, thrillers, and horrors in a big lump sum. I think this time around it'll just be probably thrillers most likely, so, or whatever's marketed as a thriller, but we'll see. All right, the rest of this list is fairly fantasy heavy or like fantasy adjacent. So let's go with the books that aren't quite as fantasy. Let's start with The Binding by Bridget Collins. This was a lovely gift from Phoebe all the way from the UK for my birthday, and I am so excited because they reached out to me on Instagram and said read it in the fall because it's very fall vibes, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this cover is telling me it's fall vibes, so we're gonna read it in the fall. I have zero idea what this is about. I just know that it is absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at this hardcover. Every time I talk about this book, I'm gonna show you the hardcover because it's just gorgeous. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I know nothing about it, and that's how I'm gonna dive in. Then I also would like to read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zavin, because this just this has been on my radar for a little while and it sounds amazing. So I'm gonna dive in. I know 2 of my friends read it recently and they both enjoyed it at least, and I think the internet is absolutely adoring it. So I'm ready to have my heart broken because I think a lot of people have been saying that this is pretty sad, but who knows? Not me. I don't know. But I think it's like a historical fiction romance with 2 kids who make a video game. I have no idea, but I know video games are involved and that it is not a sci-fi. So who knows? I'm excited to read it either way. So I also would really, my poor copy got scratched. Oh, that's so annoying. I really would like to read The Ordinary Monsters, or Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro, because this just feels like the perfect kind of book to read during fall. It is a historical fantasy set in Victorian England with 2 twins. That's all I know. So I'm excited. It's a chunky boy, and I feel like it's something that I can really dig my teeth into. We're gonna dive in at some point. This might be a November read. Feels like a November read to me, so we'll see. Like when there's like barely any leaves on the trees, snow is possibly falling. Depends on the year. Fairly excited about this one. How could I not have this on this list? I'm also going to be reading R.F. Kuang's Babel or Babel. I'm gonna call it Babel because that makes more sense to me, but I know that R.F. Kuang put up a post saying it can be either way, pronounced either way. And I'm so excited to read this Dark Academia standalone. This is a perfect season for this, of course. So hopefully pretty soon, like end of September, beginning of October vibes, but I'm so excited about this. I know very little about it, only that people are just screaming about it on the internet and loving it. So I want to jump on the hype train and I want to read this. I have only read 1 book of Rebecca's previously, and that is The Poppy War, which is also, funnily enough, on this list in a different kind of capacity because I want to read all 3 of these. I want to read, is that in order for you guys? Probably not, I don't know. But I want to read this entire trilogy this fall, because when I first read The Poppy War itself, it felt like it was the wrong time for me. So we're gonna try it again, and then we're gonna dive into the other 2. I have this probably unhinged idea to read this entire trilogy in a weekend, so we'll have to see how that pans out. But stay tuned for a reading vlog where I reread The Poppy War and finally dive into book 2 and 3. So amazing. But yeah, I didn't really love this the first time around, so I'm hoping that second time around and continuing in the series, I like this a lot more, because it does sound like something something really, really up my alley. But yeah, lots of R.F. Kuang on this list, which is great. I also would really like to read The Sword of Kaigen, which is a standalone fantasy. I believe it's indie pubbed by M.L. Wong. I know nothing about. Only that it is epic, standalone, and a lot of people's favorite indie books, if not some of their favorite books of all time, like really well done. So I'm excited to dive into this for sure, because I want to continue my exploration into some indie pub books, of course. And on this same topic, I do have a stack of books laying on the floor next to me that I do want to do a Cozy Fantasy Part 2 reading vlog to that I did. I did one earlier this year. I have a whole stack of them that I would really love to do this cozy season, so those are also potentials, but I'm just not gonna mention them here because there's a lot of them. I have a lot of books that I really want to read. Speaking of rereads, I also really want to reread the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy and do a reading vlog of it. So one of these weekends coming up, I'm just gonna sit and read this book and, well, all 3 books, I guess. I really want to do that, and I want to annotate this gorgeous, gorgeous copy that I picked up when I was a wee child for some reason. And I had to perform like a book surgery on because it's covered in masking tape now. Also planning on rereading Lord of the Rings because this season is perfect for rereading Lord of the Rings, is it not? I also have 2 more that are more hopefuls, not necessarily things that I'm going to go for, but I did recently pick up The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez, and I know very little about this, only that it is a beautifully written, will change your perspective on narrative kind of fantasy. I'm not entirely sure. I've heard someone explaining it over TikTok at one point and they said that it was just exceptional and totally nothing that they had read before. So I'm excited about it, and this cover is just absolutely gorgeous. So we'll be picking this up hopefully sometime soon, if not maybe over the winter holidays, but who knows. And then I would also love to be able to get to Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, and to do that I need to reread The Way of Kings. There's a lot of rereading happening and a lot of rereading planned. I love rereading, so that's totally okay by me, but I really need to get to this chunky boy. I need to continue with the Stormlight Archives. It's just, I have to continue with this series because I've only read the first one. I need to keep going. And it's been a couple years since I read the first one, I think, so I don't know what I'm doing, but definitely this. Last that I'll mention is something that is currently on its way to me. It was a pre-order and the book was released on Tuesday this week. So I've just been waiting for my pre-order to ship and get to me, but that is Nona the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I think this one's probably like my most anticipated right now because I'm just so excited. I keep seeing people reading and reviewing and loving it. I want to be there too, and I really want to reread the first 2. I want to reread Gideon and Harrow before diving in, just to see if I can pick up on any clues of like foreshadowing or like not be as confused as I was the first time that I read through the first 2 books. But you know, who the hell knows if I'll even be able to do that, because that's another 2 books onto this list, Gideon and Harrow. So I don't really have any other books to talk about. I guess I might talk about some of those cozy fantasies. Why not? Just so you guys know what they are. We got a big old stack. So we got Dragons of Autumn Twilight, which is a Dragonlance novel. This is one I've had around since the first vlog, but I didn't get to it in that vlog, so I'm hoping to this one. I also have the self-pubbed Miss Percy's Pocket Guide to the Care and Feeding of British Dragons by Quenby Olson, which just sounds right up my alley. Also have The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. This apparently isn't like the traditional cozy fantasy that we think of, like Legends and Lattes, but it's more along the lines of like The Hobbit cozy, like traditional fantasy, a little bit more calm, character focused, that kind of a thing. So very excited about that. And then I also have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, which I've heard is just absolutely delightful, so I really want to read this. And then I also have The Ogress and the Orphans by Kelly Barnhill. This is a middle grade that just looks absolutely beautiful. And I have the entire trilogy of Tama and Kethri by Mercedes Lackey that I would like to at least read the first one in. Who knows when that's gonna happen. It's a little book. That's kind of the plans for that cozy fantasy vlog. It's this season for cozy fantasy, of course, so hopefully I get to these at some point soon. If you guys want to watch those kind of vlogs, or if you want to see one ahead of others, please let me know down below what you want to see from me this fall as I kind of create content and do so. But that was the quickest video I have ever filmed talking about this many books, but I guess that's just how reading radars are gonna go. These are the books that I want to read this coming fall-ish season. I probably will have another one coming out going into the winter times, so we'll see how many of these books that I get to before the winter one comes out. But yeah, if you want to see any of these videos that I've talked about today, make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you know when I upload, and follow me on my social medias. They're all in the down bar down below. I post on TikTok. I haven't recently, but I do. I fairly consistently, so, and I really like TikTok. I enjoy that platform, so I will catch you in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.